Well, okay, I just spent an hour or more at a live stream, and I just don't have time for butthurt, especially when it's something that is uh, minor. Um, Anyone that has that delicate of an ego that they will not acknowledge me, and matter of fact, they go out of their way to snub me, SNUB. Excuse my speech. I've had some very serious maxillofacial injuries, and there are times when my enunciation and pronunciation is not the best. So I can appreciate what this party is going through. It's becoming excessive though that it seems like anyone or that uh, rubs them the wrong way, doesn't agree with them, or just pick a category. They go on the list and they get their feet held to the fire. And you know what? If the person has physically put their hands on you or stolen from you, and I'm not talking nickel and dime either. That's I can appreciate, and then they laugh about it online and have no remorse. I went through that. I refuse, though, to have a tit for tat with every person that I disagree with. Uh, I'm actually happy that I have a very limited ego. Oh my, I really am having a hard time here, aren't I? I really, I have to say that we have such serious issues confronting all of us that I can't for the life of me appreciate people that want to go on and on and on about trivial things in life. To me, I mean, well, let's just put it this way. That's their right. That's their business. But it was just such a drain. It was such a drain because every little, it doesn't matter. It's just, we're not to keep a list of every little thing. As followers of Jesus Christ, and I'm far from, being any good at obedience, and there's your proof. Okay, there's some evidence that, you belong to Him. I have to make an effort, and I have to continually confess my wrongdoing so that I can be cleaned up and set back on the path with my behavior. And I'm not going to subject myself to another live stream where I just feel that, well, it seems that, mentally unbalanced. Some things, when it's a misdemeanor, when something's a misdemeanor, don't paint it and present it as a felony. Okay? And when there's so many people, I mean, yes, I could name a lot of people. I mean, there are people that I blocked them before they even contacted me. And sure enough, they eventually tried to contact me and interact, and I blocked them. They were blocked. But I didn't go around and tell everybody all the details and carry on about it. And there are so many serious things going on. And I've had a challenging life, a very challenging life, and it wasn't because my folks didn't have much money. That wasn't it. My parents didn't make a lot of money when I was a little girl, but they were highly motivated and knew what they were doing, and became more and more successful. And a lot of that success was my intellectual property and my hard work, of which I was robbed of three separate accounts of money that was mine entirely, not theirs, by my family, and they didn't need the money. That's what floors me. They didn't need it. If they were hurting for money, and I even told my family, keep it. It's for me. It's a mute topic. I don't think about it except when your conscience grieves you and you're concerned about the ramifications because you know what you've done is wrong. You keep bringing it up. Why don't we just drop this? So there is so much going on in the world, and I can only babysit and indulge the wah wah wah, especially someone that's rude to me intentionally. Am I supposed to be so wounded? You know what? I'm not putting up with it. You're not my commanding officer. Like I'm supposed to give a shit? Really? Because apparently I can't imagine you being my supervisor at work. I would dread. I would dread coming in to see your face. I would. You know what? I'll tell you, people share their background as they choose. That's their right. But I have to ask myself, based on your conduct, because I know how I've treated you, I have to ask myself if you didn't really beg, beg. Now there could have been uh, something very righteous on your part that caused this to come down on you, but it could have just been you were an asshole, and they said, "Hey, I know how to deal with this asshole." I'm not a perfect person, and I'm not especially a likable person, because my life has been a literal hell on earth. See, I'm one of those people that most of them die, and for some reason, my Heavenly Father decided that I was going to make it out alive. I lived to tell again and again and again. And I don't think most of the crybabies that I encounter can comprehend what I've lived through. I'm not a violent person and I don't like violence, but I have witnessed the fact that many people only respect a show of force. They will continue to torment, antagonize, and talk shit, start shit, because there are no consequences. They will destroy other people if put in a position where they can, because there are no consequences. And I'm almost 70 years old. I've really managed to be a loving, kind, forgiving person throughout most of my life. I'd say there was about a 12-year period there where I really was in bad shape. I was trying to find my way, but for the rest of my life, I would say that I did pretty good because I had help. I had help from my Heavenly Father, And I don't understand the people that every little thing has to go their way or there's hell to pay. And they have to, and they'll drain you. I mean, my battery is so drained right now. It's unreal. And I can't blame anyone except myself because I stuck around. I should have just said, oh, leave. Sometimes you have reasons, though, for enduring the things that you endure. And at that moment, I did. And it was though, when I think about it, worth it to observe this person intentionally ignore me. I mean, this person can't sling the word narcissist ever again in front of me without it being understood that it's projection. It most definitely is. And I'm the first to admit how flawed I am. I am definitely a flawed person. There isn't a day that I make it through that I don't have to stop and ask God to help me out because of the fact that I am so flawed. FLAWED. Because the log in my own eye is obstructing my view. But when I spend an hour plus in the shadow of someone that lacks the insight, fails to recognize their own shortcomings. I mean, I am so drained right now, and I don't like it. I feel very bad for this person, but I also know that they're toxic. They're very toxic. And I'm feeling very conflicted at the moment because I went to the live stream when I decided to type, I visited. I said, well, let them know you're here. So I decided, I'd go ahead and attend to be treated the way I was treated. It's good that I went ahead and did that because just watching their videos, I wouldn't have known how much contempt they have for me. And it really, it shouldn't be a priority. It shouldn't. I should dismiss it because there's nothing this person can do for me. I've done, oh my gosh, I think I burned through $100,000 in a month. Okay? So they can't touch me. What are they going to do? They're going to wait. What are you going to do? Put me in timeout? Yeah, well, I'll be here waiting. Maybe that's what bothers them. They can't threaten me. So it wouldn't do them any good. That and the fact that, I hold my own pretty good, especially for a lady that has a significant amount of brain damage that I have. I've got some serious brain damage. The number of blows to my head, lost count when I was a little girl, let alone the car accidents and such. And the weapons, that now I'm starting to feel a little better. I've done got that stated. Yeah, I took some extra heavy duty aluminum foil, and now that I've gone online with this, I'm noticing other people talking about it more and more because I'm sure I'm not the first person or the only person. But I just hadn't seen it mentioned, and I got this bright idea because of some things that I observed that seemed hinky. And so I got some extra heavy duty aluminum foil and I hung it up as though it were drapes around my person. I had time. I had a king size bed and I made as though they were drapes and surrounded myself on two sides. The sides facing to my west and to my north, because they're in my bedroom faced some woods, very small section of trees, and then people's backyards to their homes. And sure enough, I could hear very, very softly this sound. And then I guess it was 12 minutes, I decided to check the very smooth, perfect, not wrinkled, not torn aluminum foil, and it was full of holes, just all over. Like if you were to take salt and throw a large amount of salt and have it scatter on a black piece of paper, the little specks of salt would be everywhere. That's how that aluminum foil looked. It was full of holes. So I'm not sure what the weapon is that was, whether it comes, I can't say. I'm not qualified to say what caused the holes in the aluminum foil. Nevertheless, they were there. And so it's quite understandable that I'm having some cognitive issues. I've just got so much going on, but of course I'm not the only one. There are other people also, and they have it harder than I do. I've had it hard. I've been forced out of, I've had more than one home to live in and couldn't live in my home. I had to abandon my homes. I literally had to abandon my homes. I couldn't live in them. And I've never shared with people all of the torture, like this one scientist, this highly educated young lady that said they were going in her panties drawer, rifling through it. That's one of the first things they did when they were going in my home and bothering things. When it first started and the children still lived at home with me, was them bothering my underwear drawer and my clothes and such. And one of the reasons I don't sit and go back and mention all of the horrible things they've done to me is because my late husband invested a good decade doing what he could to help me recover, because I found human remains on my property at my home where a girl had been murdered and cut up. Knives were involved, and I suspect a chainsaw. There was a chipper shredder, which it was instinctive that I sold. It's a wood chipper. You put wood through it, because I suspected that the man I was married to was going to cut me up and put my body parts through it, among other things. And it was, it was going to be a long, drawn-out process. But I've just, I'm not kidding. I found human remains on my dog did, and brought them to the front porch, and that's how I ended up in possession of them. And I turned them in to the county, and there was a federal agent office in the county sheriff's building. And there's a reason I don't discuss. Therefore, when I go to a live stream and I listen to somebody bitch about $20 and somebody's talking about them over $20 flipping dollars, and this person this and that person that, like, why did I subject myself to this shit? But it was worth it, because now I know, don't waste my time. And to find out that they're so petty, and it really gives me pause to ask myself if they're legitimate. Are they legitimate? Have to wonder, huh? One really does have to wonder. I'm not saying that they're not, because you know what? I don't know. And I'm not a liar, and I'm not going to pretend. I don't have this ego that I have to take care of. Oh, my ego, it's deflated. What will I do? It's not a problem I have. So a lot of murdered people, uh, some very very evil and wicked things, druggings, uh, having my pelvis being beaten with a baseball bat, having an electric drill taken and placed inside my skull, inside my mouth, through a molar up into my cheekbone, and having to wait 3 months to get into an oral surgeon. The emergency room doctor told me that he was sorry, but it even took him 3 months to get an appointment with an oral surgeon. I'm telling you that I'm starting, when I think about the torture that I've been put through as a targeted individual, I'm starting to feel a bit suspect. And at the very least, I'm going to ask the question, at the very least, are you genuine? And then I have to tell you that there is no need for me to subject myself to your baloney, because if $20 and $25 from a woman that is a petty grifter, that has just enough mentally going on for them to grift, and that's about it. And these people that they don't like you, and you had a falling. Listen, you have, this is all petty shit. It's petty. If every time you're offended, this crap's going to go on, well, you're not going to get much else done. And this constant, you're going to say, well, go ahead and sue. Even if I still had assets. See, I donated. My assets are gone. I donated the contents of my home. And it took me a little over a month to burn through over $100,000. It was recommended that I do so. If I still had that money, I bet you'd sue me too, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? You've really made me dislike you. But that's okay. I'm going to get over that, because I'm not going to invest. I'm not going to invest in you. You don't deserve it. You're your own worst enemy, just like most of us are. But I'm just, what I've been through and what my late husband went through, helping to restore my mind and my life to where I could enjoy the little things, because I had the worst nightmares for 10 years straight. Just absolute, just horrible. People murdered, finding a young girl out of Kansas, missing out of Kansas. My pup, my little dog, brought me her spine, her cervical vertebrae. She'd just been killed. The flesh was still pink. It hadn't even oxidized. Yeah. Come on and tell me about your trauma again. Oh, that's right. You can't. You can't. You're full of shit. You keep hollering, "Give me cute, give me cute." It must have. You know what? You probably got set up by the people you worked with because you're a witch. Yeah, you intentionally insulted me. Well, I'm not impressed with your horror story of your targeting. And I'm going to have to ask some serious questions when I feel like it. Because right now I don't feel like it. You'll just have to wait. Happy day.